The Silk Road, a journey through history, culture, and trade. The Silk Road, one of the most iconic trade routes in human history, was much more than just a means of transporting goods across continents. It was a dynamic network of trade, cultural exchange, and diplomacy that connected the East and West for over 1,000 years. Spanning across deserts, mountains, and empires, the Silk Road not only transported silk and spices, but also ideas, technologies, religions, and even diseases. This in-depth look at the Silk Road will explore its origins, its significance in world history, and its lasting legacy. The Silk Road wasn't a single road, but a series of interconnected trade routes stretching from China to the Mediterranean. It emerged around the 2nd century BCE, during the Han Dynasty, when China began to trade with Central Asia. The route took its name from the lucrative silk trade that was a key driver of the economy at the time. However, long before the Han Dynasty officially established the Silk Road, ancient civilizations had been exchanging goods across shorter distances. For instance, the Persian Empire's Royal Road, built in the 5th century BCE, and the trade routes used by nomadic Scythians already hinted at the interconnectedness of ancient societies. What the Silk Road did was extend these earlier networks across Eurasia, making large-scale, cross-cultural trade possible. The Silk Road earned its name from the trade of silk, one of the most coveted goods in the ancient world. For centuries, the Chinese closely guarded the secret of silk production, sericulture, making it a highly valuable commodity across Central Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. But while silk was the headline product, many other goods flowed along the Silk Road. From east to west, silk. The fabric was highly sought after in the Roman Empire, Persian courts, and beyond. Porcelain, Chinese ceramics, known for their beauty and craftsmanship, were highly prized in the Middle East and Europe. Paper. Invented in China, paper was a revolutionary product that eventually spread to the Islamic world and Europe, transforming the preservation of knowledge. Tea and spices. These items, particularly from China and India, brought exotic flavors to distant lands. From west to east, horses. Central Asia was renowned for its powerful horses, which were traded with China and often used in Chinese military campaigns. Glassware. The Roman Empire's glass-making techniques were highly advanced, and glass objects were treasured in China and Central Asia. Precious metals and stones, gold, silver, and gems were regularly exchanged for luxury goods from the East. Wool and textiles. High-quality fabrics, including wool from Central Asia and Roman textiles, were important exports. 3. Cultural exchange on the Silk Road. Beyond goods, the Silk Road was a conduit for cultural, religious, and technological exchanges that would transform the civilizations it connected. The spread of religions along the Silk Road is one of its most profound legacies. Merchants, monks, and missionaries traveled with caravans, carrying religious ideas that would reshape entire cultures. Buddhism. Originating in India, Buddhism spread northward through Central Asia and into China, Korea, and Japan. The religion flourished along the Silk Road, with monasteries established at key trading posts, serving as places of worship and education for both merchants and locals. Zoroastrianism. The Persian religion was prominent in Central Asia, influencing other belief systems through cultural interactions. Islam. After the rise of Islam in the 7th century, Muslim merchants and missionaries brought the new faith to Central Asia, China, and even parts of Southeast Asia, establishing Islamic communities along the trade routes. Christianity, Christian missionaries, including Nestorian Christians, ventured as far as China, establishing churches along the Silk Road in Central Asia. Cultural fusion along the Silk Road also manifested in art and architecture. Buddhist art from India mixed with Hellenistic influences brought by Alexander the Great's conquests, creating unique Greco-Buddhist art in regions like Afghanistan and Pakistan. Chinese ceramics were influenced by Persian designs, and Central Asian textiles integrated motifs from both East and West. The cities of Samarkand and Bukhara became bustling cosmopolitan centers where architecture reflected the blend of Persian, Islamic, and Central Asian styles. Monumental mosques, mausoleums, and madrasas in these cities became landmarks of cultural integration. The Silk Road was not just about exchanging material goods. It was a highway for intellectual exchange. Ideas in science, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine traveled along with merchants and diplomats. Paper and printing. Paper, invented in China during the Han Dynasty, spread to the Islamic world through the Silk Road, leading to the development of book production and the spread of literacy. The Chinese technique of block printing, which eventually evolved into movable type printing, revolutionized the way information was recorded and disseminated. Gunpowder. Also originating in China, gunpowder traveled westward along the Silk Road, reaching the Middle East and Europe, where it would have a profound impact on warfare. Mathematics. Indian mathematics, particularly the concept of zero and the decimal system, traveled along the Silk Road and influenced Islamic scholars, who in turn introduced these concepts to Europe. Medical knowledge, herbal medicine, surgical techniques, and even philosophies of healing were exchanged across cultures. The famous Persian scholar Avicenna's Canon of Medicine drew on both Greco-Roman and Islamic medical knowledge, influencing medical practice in Europe for centuries. Throughout history, various empires played critical roles in maintaining, protecting, and expanding the Silk Road. The Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, 220 CE. The Chinese Han Dynasty was instrumental in the early development of the Silk Road. Through military campaigns and diplomacy, the Han expanded China's influence westward into Central Asia, securing key trade routes and establishing relationships with nomadic tribes and other powers. The Roman Empire. While the Romans didn't control the Silk Road, they were among the major consumers of goods, especially Chinese silk. Roman merchants were active in trade, particularly with Parthia, modern-day Iran, which acted as a middleman for the exchange of goods between Rome and China. The Mongol Empire, 13th, 14th century. Under Genghis Khan and his successors, the Mongol Empire created an unprecedented era of peace and stability along the Silk Road, often referred to as the Pax Mongolica. The Mongols protected traders and encouraged the flow of goods and information across Eurasia, from China to Europe, fostering a golden age of trade and cultural exchange. By the late 15th century, the prominence of the Silk Road began to decline, largely due to a combination of geopolitical changes and the rise of maritime trade. The Ottoman Empire's conquest of Constantinople in 1453 disrupted land routes between Europe and Asia. Simultaneously, European explorers, most notably Vasco da Gama, began searching for sea routes to Asia, diminishing the importance of overland routes. Additionally, the increasing cost of maintaining long overland trade routes, combined with local conflicts and the rise of more centralized nation-states, contributed to the decline of the Silk Road. However, by this time, the Silk Road had already left a lasting legacy that would shape the world for centuries. The legacy of the Silk Road is visible in many aspects of modern life, from the diffusion of religious practices to the spread of scientific knowledge. The cross-cultural interactions it facilitated contributed to the Renaissance in Europe, the spread of Buddhism across Asia, and the integration of culinary traditions across continents. In recent years, interest in the Silk Road has been revived, with initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative, seeking to restore the ancient trade networks in a modern context, connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa through infrastructure projects and trade agreements. The Silk Road was a vital artery of trade, culture, and diplomacy that connected the ancient world in ways that still resonate today. It facilitated not only the exchange of goods, but also ideas, art, religion, and technology. The journey of the Silk Road is a testament to the enduring human desire for connection and exchange, and its history remains an essential part of our global heritage.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Delving into the Deep for regular updates.